Hello, friends. We're here with Phil Brewer, Silver Hills, and we want to share with you some things you could do if you're feeling under the weather, especially flu-like symptoms. Of course, none of this is medical advice. Always get checked out by your doctor. But from the health committee, we just really want to share some tools that we know to be effective in certain cases. So, Phil, would you tell us a little bit about what the Adventists did for the Spanish flu back in 1918?
So back in 1918, they had a similar situation where they had a pandemic. And what was happening, of course, they didn't have the tools that we have today. And they were, using the best they had. But in a place called St. Helena, California, the Adventists were using fomentations, hot and cold fomentations, which is what this video is about. They were using it to help people. Again, that flu was attacking the upper respiratory. They were having respiratory problems. And so they used the hot and cold fomentations as a means of being able to assist the body at resisting the flu and recovering from it. And so basically that's what we're sharing with people today.
So if people have questions, would they be able to contact you?
Yes, and you can, Angela, you can post our phone number and we'd be more than happy to, give them support. Just in case they, don't feel like they've got the right equipment or setting it up right, or, they're concerned about it. And I understand that. So sure, they're more than happy to talk to them over the phone about it. And we're not in any way suggesting that this is, so you can go out and just mingle with your friends and all that kind of stuff, because we got to back up. What the health department is encouraging us to do, we support 100%, 100%. Stay in your home, stay separate, wash your hands, all of those things. We're in complete support with all of that. This is only in the case that you have been, you're feeling symptoms, you're concerned, what would I do if I felt symptoms? Or, so you can start preparing yourself so that you have something to do and maybe be able to keep yourself from getting worse.
Phil, we're going to be watching a video that we did at the Health Summit that you showed us how to do fomentations. And you've mentioned that they would be good for lung congestion. Would that be something that would help people who have at the beginning stages of this virus?
The health department, even now, no matter where you are, is saying stay home, stay safe. And even if you're coming down with symptoms, stay at, and so you're kind of trapped in that. You're kind of trapped in that situation where you're not sure what to do. What would I do if I had the symptoms and I was told to stay home? Would I just stay home and wait? And so the fomentations is something that you can do, something simple that you can do that could say assist the body in help it during the time, from the time you feel that you've had the symptoms until, they progressed and they got worse and you need to get into the hospital. It may even prevent it from happening. It's something that we showed, demonstrated how they could be done, and the person could use them at this time as a way of helping themselves if they started thinking, I'm coming down with this.
Okay, great. And just so you know, we actually talked quite a bit about different things, and we're going to put that at the end of the video. So if you want more information, we're going to have more information after this video on fomentations.
Okay, let's see. All right, one more thing. When we wrap these up, what I'm going to do here, it's going to happen fairly quickly, so I'm not going to be able to have time to explain all of this while we're doing it. It's better off for you to ask the questions and watch it now, because once we start it, this fellow wants us to carry on. He doesn't want us to stop halfway through and go into a big discussion. So here's what I'm using. I'm using a piece of wool. There it is right there. The piece of wool is 3 thicknesses. So originally it was 3 times this wide and about this long, about 3 feet long, okay? This is narrower than when it was made. In other words, it's getting smaller, and the reason is because I'm dipping it in boiling water, and wool will shrink, right? It'll keep getting tighter and tighter. If I make it hot enough, I can make felt out of it, right? I mean, so in other words, it's basically going to get smaller, but originally it was about 1 inch wider than this, all right? So I'm going to dip this in hot water, boiling water, and I'm going to do this. Watch what I'm doing now. See this? I'm taking that, and I'm exchanging hands. See what's happening to my cloth? It's starting to get into a knot, right? Then I'm going to pull out the excess hot water. Then what I do is I drop it on a towel, and I fold the towel like this, back and forth, fold it like that, and roll it up. And when it's rolled up now, I've got the steam in there, And I can leave it like that for 5 minutes. It'll still have steam in it. See, so it's basically rolled up. The heat is inside, all right? So that's, now, I had a nurse that came to me. She had COPD, and she was in tough shape. She had basically kind of given up on life. I mean, if you can't breathe, I mean, that is one of the most difficult assignments that anybody has, not to be able to breathe. So I did this for her, but she lives alone. And she doesn't have somebody right close at hand that is going to be able to do this for her. And so, but she needs to keep doing it. She realized the benefit, and she says, I got to keep doing this. This is actually essential. So what I taught her to do is, don't put any water, don't put any boiling water on this. Just dip this in water, just room temperature water. Wring it out so it doesn't drip. Roll it up inside the towel like this. All right. And then fold it like this, roll it up again, and have a microwave laying right here beside your kitchen table. You lay on your kitchen table, put the microwave right beside it so you can reach into it from the table. Lay on the table, put your feet in hot water, put this in for 3 minutes, ding, comes out, lay it on your chest, put the next one in right away and push it for 3 minutes. So the microwave's timing it. You don't have to even worry about it, because when it dings, you've got your 3 minutes. Lay it there for 3 minutes, roll it off, right, ice water, take the next one, put this one back, put this one in. She's able to do it for herself. So you can do this with a microwave for 3 minutes. It will do the same thing, okay? Okay, here we go. Have we got this gentleman that's going to come up here? We want to give him a hand. He's being as brave as he can. Yeah, socks off, that's right. You know, one of the reasons why we're going to give him a hand is because quite frequently when we get the people's feet in hot water, they splash around a little bit, and they end up with a pretty wet backside, and so he's going to be thanking you for at least clapping for doing that, you know. Okay, so you can just lay on the table here. Yeah, take your shirt off. Okay, bend your knees, bend your knees. That's good, okay.
It's really difficult. Really difficult to buy yardage of wool like that. I mean, you can for $27 to $37 a meter. So what I have done, I have gone around to the different value villages, the different charity places, the Salvation Army, and most people have gotten rid of their old wool blankets. They've all gone to something synthetic. And so I've gone in there and picked them up, taken them home and washed them a couple times, hung them out in the line so that I make sure that they're, you know, aired out, sterilized and stuff in the greatness of the sun, and then cut them up and use them. When you're using wool, it doesn't fray. So remember that. So it makes it a lot easier if you get a really good thick one. So just kind of keep your eye open. You know, garage sales, whatever.
Thank you. It isn't, you don't have to make them, once you've made them, these will be like 5 years old, right? So once you've got a set, you don't have to keep on making them over and over again. Okay, so you'll notice, I want you to just take a look at this fellow's skin a little bit from where your position, and you'll see that he's definitely got 40% of his blood vessels open right now, but there's a pallor to the skin. It's not bright red, right? It's not all bright red. Now, one of the things we got to do here is to protect him from getting burnt. Now, if you're doing a man, you have to sometimes be a little more emphatic and tell them, don't be too brave. Tell me when it's too hot, okay? Because this is not a test of bravery, right? What we're trying to do is get his chest hot, but we don't want to take him to the hospital with second-degree burns or anything. So you'll see I've got a big towel. This is a bath towel, and I folded it 3 thicknesses thick. Okay, so that's protecting his chest, and you'll see how it operates. So now I'm going to dip this in the boiling water right here. Okay, and you'll see I'm just twisting, handing it to the next hand back and forth and twisting it at the same time until I've got a good knot in there, and then I can pull it and you'll see the water is going to run right out of it. My hands, the ends are dry, so I'm not going to get my hands wet in boiling hot water. And then you see the steam coming off of there, and you're going to trap that inside the towel just like that. Okay, Now, if you put your hand inside here, you'd burn it. That's how hot it is. It's trapped that steam right inside that wool. Okay, so we're going to put this on his chest. The middle lays right in the middle of the chest. The ends that are not got any heat in them are folded over each other, and then you cover it up like that. Now, here's one of the more important things to understand. At this point, you know what everybody does? Everybody does it. I haven't taught one person that doesn't do this. They start patting it. Don't do that. You just drive the steam in that spot. So just let it sit there. How's it doing? Pretty hot?
It's good.
You're feeling it? It feels nice and warm, doesn't it?
Nice and warm, yeah.
Yeah, when it gets too hot. Now, if it gets too hot, here's what you do. Just grab it like this and lift it up once. Put it right back down. Steam comes out, and that stops the heat, just like that. If he says, oh, that's pretty hot, lift it right up, put it back down. It's fine. And that you don't, but don't do this. Believe it, I will tell people that every time, and I have to tell them 4, 5, 6 times because everybody does it. I even sometimes forget, and I go, oh, yeah, how does that feel? You know, don't do that. Don't pat it. Okay? So who's timing us? Anybody? No? Okay, I'll start. Here we go. Pat it on there for a minute. Let's keep it on there for a couple more minutes. Are we ready to go yet? I think so. Here we go. Okay, here's what the next step is. This is the part as the hydrotherapist, that you love, right? Because you get to dash them with cold water, and they squirm, and they squeal, and, you know, all that stuff, right? It's the payback. So I have actually got ice cubes in the water because I want to make sure that I get a very vigorous reaction, okay? Now, part of the problem with putting the ice water on people, ladies, is they want to do such a neat and tidy job of it. There's nothing neat and tidy about this part of it. You're going to slop ice water all over them, and you want to make sure you don't just take a little bit on a cloth and dab it. You want to slop ice water all over. They want it really icy and cold, right? And so it's actually water, a wet, sloppy rag that you're rubbing on them that's really cold is really what you're after. Quite often I'll have ladies, when I teach them, they're trying to be so delicate and careful, they hardly get any cold water on the person, and they really aren't getting to get the reaction they want. Okay, so now I'm making this one up so that it's right ready to go as soon as I'm finished with the ice water, okay? What's your name?
Miles.
Miles.
Yep. Miles away.
Anybody want to feel this? It's still hot. You can come up and feel it. See this? Watch. See? See how much water I got on it? He doesn't mind it's cold. It's hot anyway. Now, if you see that skin right now, can you see it? Bright red. Okay? And that blood in that skin with that bright red is running. It's moving. It's actually moving quickly because that cold is just woof, away it goes. Okay? A thermophore, people use them all the time. And I haven't had experience with them. The reason why I use this and I teach this, because everybody can do this. If they don't have if I used the thermophore, a lot of people would say, well, I don't have one, I don't know where to get one, I can't afford one. But people do use them. And I haven't done it, so I'm not sure. If it can get as hot as this, then it's useful. Yeah, if you can get it good and hot. But the whole secret of this is to get it hot, okay? Now here we come. Now Alana is going to do something here. She's going to add hot to the foot bath because it's just about impossible to keep that hot enough. See, it's going to start warming up. And so she's adding hot there to keep those feet hot. You don't want them to start chilling off in the middle of the hot and cold fomentations. Okay, now he's telling me it's getting hot. Now, this is to be aware of. The second time around, it's going to get hot quicker. Why? Because the towel is getting wet that it's sitting on. And the water will transfer the heat much quicker than the dry towel. Water, this is why we use hydrotherapy, because water transfers the temperature change 32 times faster than anything else. It's really the water carries the heat. It's really what it's doing. So that's why we use hydrotherapy. You could use all kinds of things, but water works the best. I've done it with people with a heart condition. It would depend on the condition, I think, somewhat. I've been careful with people that have pacemakers. I'm not going to do that. I don't have the experience. If I had a doctor standing beside me, I would do it. I've had people that have had a heart condition that they would put like a thick face cloth over top of the heart area and just do the lung, right? So I don't know. I wouldn't want to, if it was a desperate heart condition, I'd be very careful, for sure. Time's up? What am I going to do? Oh, sorry. What was the time period was the question. The time period is 3 minutes of hot, 30 seconds of cold, okay?
Isn't that hot on your hands?
No, because I'm not putting the ends into the water. So I can take the water, is staying in the cloth, but I'm not getting my hands wet at all, okay? So if you see how I'm holding it, I'm holding just the end of the cloth and keeping the hot water part away from my hands. Some people, I've seen ladies do this same thing, and they'll use those gloves, you know, those like dishwashing gloves or whatever. Latex gloves, I think, or something. They'll do that so they don't get their hands hot, but it really isn't that difficult to keep your hands if you keep the ends dry. I can barely hold this. That's how hot this is right now. Whoop. Now, you remember this? See how wet that is? Okay. Ah, lovely. This guy says his name is Miles. And he wishes he was miles away right now.
It's refreshing.
Yeah.
Really refreshing.
If you have the flu? Yeah. Okay. This lady asked if you have the flu. Okay, I'm going to tell you something else you can do if you have the flu. This will work for the condition itself, if you get congestion in the lung, of course. I will back up one step. We had I'll tell you two stories that go along with this. You okay? Just tell me. If I don't stop, just grab my hand and squeeze it hard, okay? So my wife's sister is a teacher. Teachers are exposed to a classroom full of germs, grade 4 teachers. A classroom full of germs. They got germs in that room all the time. And the teacher's coming down with everything, just keeps getting it. She came down with pneumonia. And she had viral pneumonia, and she had it for weeks and weeks, couldn't get rid of it. She phoned us up, and I said, Eileen, we're going. We went to Edmonton. We did this for a week on her. Pneumonia was gone. She had tried everything. You can't get rid of it with an antibiotic. It's viral pneumonia. This Nurse Kinney, you look her up, Australia, she taught the people that if you use hot and cold fomentations on viral pneumonia, you will heal it. And it heals it quickly. So her husband now knows what we did on her chest. He is scheduled for a hip operation. It takes months and up to almost 8 months to get in the lineup. A week before his hip operation, he gets bronchitis. You cannot have a hip operation if you've got an infection. They're not going to give it to you. He thinks he's going to get kicked out of the lineup. He says, what do I do? He phones up. I said, I know what you can do. Hot and cold fomentations. He does hot and cold fomentations on him. He got to do his hip operation. So, you know, it's just knowing that these things, it's very valuable, okay? You know, I want to tell you this. If you're interested in knowing this, 1920 to 1930, every hospital in Canada was set up to do hydrotherapy. Hydrotherapy is not a crude science. It's a very well-established science. The difficulty was that doing this in a hospital setting would require so much more staff, so much more time, so it just faded out. Oh, this is nothing. He's lucky right now. You got to see what's going to happen next. Woo! Oh boy. Oh yeah, there you go, Miles. Love it. Enjoy it. Now you're going to get it now, boy. Okay, you know what we're going to do next, right? Who knows what we're going to do next? You see, we've got ice water right here, right? And Miles is going to take his feet out of that one, and he's going to put them in this one. There you go. Drop them right in there, Miles. Oh, wow. That feels lovely. Let's give him a hand. There we go. All right. Okay, haul him out. Lift him up. Oh, he's got a few ice cubes stuck to his skin. Okay. Just sit up for a minute and turn towards the audience for a second. Take a look at this guy's chest. Okay, now we've got rug here, so it's not really as important. But as he gets off the table, if you've got as we do in the spa, we have tile floor, ceramic tile. Do not let them walk on ceramic tile. Anything cold at all, because you're just going to counterwork what you just did. As soon as you start to chill those feet off, that blood that's really going like this in those feet is going to go somewhere, and it's going to tend to want to go back where the weakness is. It's going to try to go back to where it's congested. Okay? So there you go.
I would recommend at the outset that anyone listening to this would Google. It's a YouTube video by Dr. John Campbell. He's from England. And he has 2 segments that he did on the importance of fever. And the reason why I say that is because one of the problems that happens when a person contracts COVID-19 is they will develop a fever. Most of them, not everyone. 50% of the people don't even know they had it. That's part of the problem. But if they develop a fever, he explains he's an excellent doctor. He does an excellent job, very simple, layman language. He explains why a fever is important, why you would need a fever. He also explains the interferons. He explains how the lungs work. He explains how the virus attacks the mucosal lining of the lung and why fomentations would work. He doesn't say fomentations, but after you listen to him, you'll realize that raising the temperature of the organ itself by using fomentations would be excellent, because this virus does not like warmth. It doesn't like heat. It's very fragile and it has a difficult time. There's another website which is excellent, and it's called Uchee Pines. The Uchee Pines Institute is where I was trained. They were the ones that trained me, Dr. Thrash. And she teaches you that even with viral pneumonia, which is really the thing that is taking people's lives, it's the thing that's just, the eventual end of this COVID-19 is the lung gets pneumonia. And if the pneumonia is severe enough, then it takes their life. Well, for viral pneumonia, she recommended fomentations. And she teaches you how to do it. She explains how to do it. She explains different methods. We show you one method. We're using a hot a wool fomentation wrapped in a towel. She teaches you how to do it with towels, how to do it with flannel, all the different ways you can do it. So you don't feel trapped, you don't feel like, well, I don't have the equipment. And in looking at that, you'll be able to see there a variety of ways of using what's called hydrotherapy, which is fomentations is a part of it. I mean, they have the cold mitt friction, they have the hot foot bath. Like I tell people, even if, supposing you were saying, okay, I've got the runny nose, the sore throat, I'm starting to feel like I'm getting a fever, and I don't have the fomentation equipment, I'm get all flustered. You could simply put your feet in hot water and keep them in there for 30 minutes. And it would reduce the congestion in the lung, upper respiratory immediately. Just putting your feet in hot water would be a relief. It would start to draw away the congestion that's taking place in the upper respiratory. And then after 30 minutes in the hot water, you could give them a dash of cold water, rinse them off very carefully, and then put warm socks on. During this pandemic, none of us should get cold feet. And when I say cold feet, I don't mean cold feet like scared. I mean cold feet like walking around our house barefoot and sandals and outside in the yard or whatever. It's like that. We are cold extremities will congest the upper respiratory. And so to keep it from being congested, what we want to do is we want to keep our feet warm at all times, especially right now. This is a very, very important thing to recognize. It's number one, first of all, under doctor's direction. Phone your doctor, talk to your doctor, make sure that you're in contact with your doctor. This is not to replace the doctor. This is to augment, to supplement only in the time between if you're experiencing symptoms and you're not at the spot where you're gasping for air and you should be, intubated, you should be on a vent or something like that. This is prior to that, and possibly, hopefully, keeping you from getting to that spot.